At 6:12 a.m., Lena opened the garage door to push rainwater toward the street. On the wet concrete, a brown ribbon moved uphill. It didn't wriggle like an earthworm. It glided, flat and patient, with a crescent head that seemed to choose where it was going. She found a garden trowel by the potting bench. The old instinct arrived clean and simple. Cut it. Scrape it. Make it stop. Quietly. That instinct is the part of the story you should not trust, especially after rain, when the patio looks empty until it moves. Hammerhead flatworms are not new ghosts. They are living animals carried through soil, plants, mulch, and the soft commerce of backyards. But heavy rain changes what you see. Water fills the hidden places. The things under stones come up for air or hunger. In June 2025, reports rose across Texas after weeks of heavy rainfall, including Houston, Dallas, Austin, and coastal communities already soaked through. One expert told USA Today the extra rain had flushed them out. It is a plain phrase. It still feels like a warning. Extension researchers describe them as land planarians, a kind of predatory flatworm with a shovel-shaped head and a body like damp leather. They can be pale tan, brown, gray, or striped. Some look like scraps of tape someone dropped in the rain and forgot. They feed on soft-bodied creatures, earthworms, slugs, snails, isopods, insects. The quiet workers beneath a garden become the meal. There is a small horror in that. Not teeth, not a scream. Just one soft animal finding another in the dark soil. Some hammerhead flatworms carry tetrodotoxin, the neurotoxin better known from pufferfish, blue-ringed octopuses, and certain newts. For people, contact may irritate skin. One approach is simple. Don't touch them barehanded, and keep curious pets from licking wet concrete. Lena did not know that yet. She knew only the driveway was cold under her slippers, and the worm had reached the welcome mat. The trowel made a tiny sound when she lifted it, metal against wood. Too loud in the thin morning after the storm. Purdue Extension warns that cutting these worms can make the problem worse, because fragments may regenerate into whole new animals. So the backyard rule changes. The thing you try to divide does not always become less. Sometimes it becomes more itself. That is the sentence people remember. Do not cut the worm. It sounds like folklore because good instructions often do. Penn State says it plainly. Do not cut up land planaria to control them. The fragments can survive what looks final. Consider treating the whole animal as the problem. Gloves first, then a sealed bag or container. No chopping. No bare fingers. Lena paused with the trowel above it. The worm's head widened, like a little hammer turning toward the vibration. Breath. It did not flee. It folded forward, slow as spilled syrup, and crossed the groove where the garage floor met the drive. These worms are invasive in much of the United States, though some regions have seen them for decades, not days. NC State notes one species had been documented in North Carolina by at least 1951. A backyard mystery with old roots. That makes the story stranger, not smaller. Something can be familiar to science and still feel wrong under your porch light. They often appear after rain because moisture helps them move and keeps their bodies from drying out on exposed surfaces. In dry weather, you may never see them. They wait beneath mulch, under pots, in soil that keeps its secrets. Their prey matters. Earthworms aerate soil, recycle organic material, and help gardens breathe. A predator spreading quietly can change that balance. No siren announces that kind of damage. The tomatoes still ripen. The basil still smells sweet. The soil just loses workers. Purdue notes, regeneration can happen from a piece as small as 1/279th of the worm's body. Think about that before the shovel comes down. Think about the wet blade. Think about the pieces the rain can carry. If you find one, consider taking a photo for identification before disposal. Keep distance, use gloves, and avoid touching your face afterward. Recommended disposal includes sealing the whole worm with salt, vinegar, or alcohol, or freezing it before throwing it away. Those methods may help limit spread. Local extension offices can advise what fits your area, especially as sightings become repeated. Lena set the trowel down. The tiny clack sounded almost respectful. Then she went back inside for a plastic container. The house felt different when she returned. Not haunted. Just too quiet, as if every drain had stopped listening. Penn State cautions that there are no documented cases of children or pets being sickened from ingesting these flatworms. Still, consider caution. If a child or pet may have eaten one, calling a medical, veterinary, or poison control professional is the safer move. Most backyard fear is bigger than the actual medical risk. The ecological risk is quieter and much harder to see. Hammerhead worms reproduce by eggs and by fragmentation. That second path is why a careless slice feels like an invitation. The container trembled in Lena's hand. Not much. Enough to make the worm pause of the mat's black rubber edge. She had seen worse things online. Bigger things. Venomous things. But this was hers. Her rain. Her driveway. Her mistake waiting. Extension sources stress identification because native flatworms and other soil animals can be confused with hammerhead species. Look for the broad head, flattened body, and smooth gliding motion. If you are unsure, consider reporting a clear photo instead of guessing. The worm reached the mat and tested it. The rubber dimples filled with water. Its head moved from hollow to hollow. Lower. Lena slid a piece of cardboard beneath it. The worm bent without breaking, like a shadow being lifted from the ground. USA Today reported sightings in patios, sidewalks, and lawns as soaked soil pushed the animals into ordinary human paths. That is why this story belongs close to the door, not in a swamp, not in a jungle. Beside the recycling bin, hammerhead flatworms likely spread through the movement of landscape plants, potted soil, and nursery material from place to place. When buying or moving plants, consider checking damp pot bottoms and mulch. A minute of looking may prevent a small hitchhiker. Lena sealed the container. The sound was soft, a domestic sound. The kind a lunchbox makes before a school morning. Inside, the worm kept moving. Its head pressed the wall, turned, pressed again. No panic. Only pressure and direction. NC State Extension urges calm, noting these worms have been present for a while and panic does not improve control. Calm is useful here, so is not pretending disgust is a plan. Consider slow hands, sealed disposal, and a report if required. The rain slackened after sunrise, but the yard did not brighten. Clouds pressed low. The gutters ticked like small clocks. Some species can stretch several inches long, which makes them easy to notice when they cross pale concrete after storms. By then, Lena saw another one under the hose reel. Smaller, still as a shoelace. Then it began to move. This is how infestation stories begin. Not with swarms, with a second shape where the first one taught your eyes to look. If sightings repeat, consider checking shaded damp areas under pots, bricks, mats, hose reels, compost edges, and the undersides of loose stones. Many agencies ask residents to report invasive species sightings with a photo and location, so patterns can be tracked over time. Your local cooperative extension may help identify the species. Consider following their instructions because disposal rules can vary by region. Lena found the second container under the sink. Behind the vinegar. Behind the old sponge. Behind the smell of wet wood. She remembered the trowel wetting outside. Clean. Useless. The wrong tool for a creature that answered division with multiplication. Researchers describe the mucus as irritating, and some species use chemical defenses while hunting and avoiding predators. Consider washing gloved tools and hands afterward. If skin irritation occurs, medical guidance may help, especially for sensitive people. The second worm went into the second container. Lena lined both on the workbench, 2 quiet commas in clear plastic. Then she looked at the driveway again. The rainwater had thinned. The concrete showed every leaf, every pebble, every line. And along the seam by the storm drain, something brown and flat moved with the patience of a thing already home. If this kind of backyard story helps, leave a quiet like or subscribe. It tells the night shift where to leave the next light on. Tonight's simple rule is this: do not cut the worm, Glove up, lift it whole, seal it, treat it, and report when needed. For pets and children, caution may help. Keep them away, clean the area, and consult a professional if exposure seems possible. By 7:03, Lena had 3 containers in the freezer and a clean trowel drying by the garage door. Outside, the rain had stopped. The driveway looked empty again. But the seams stayed dark, and the mulch held its breath.